Hey YouTube, Jim here. Welcome to Top 10 Archive. If you've ever bought something secondhand, you might have wondered about the item's past. Was it stolen? Did it belong to someone famous? Perhaps, maybe even haunted. Today we're going through the top 10 creepiest things ever sold. Number 10. The Black Orloff Diamond. In 2006, the Black Orloff diamond was auctioned for $352,000, but today it's said to be easily worth in the millions. That is, if the owners don't mind that it has a very dark past and is possibly haunted. The diamond is from India and was supposedly the eye in a statue of Brahma, a god in Hindu tradition said to have created everything. It was allegedly stolen from the face of the sculpted god, Indiana Jones style, and handed down multiple times. At least 3 of those times, it ended in its owner's death by suicide. Later in the 1950s, it was recut, and suddenly, the curse seemed to be broken. In 2006, the diamond showed up on the red carpet of the Oscars on Felicity Huffman's neck. What made its bad juju run out? We may never know for sure. Number 9. Hair. After the Framing Britney Spears documentary, it's clear that paparazzi and fans alike would do anything to get a piece of her, though one could have guessed that from her song Piece of Me. Back in 2007, when she shaved her head, the shop sold it for over $1 million, including her ponytail holders, a lighter, and an energy drink she'd been drinking at the shop. Relics for the superfan. Kind of creepy for just about anyone else. Number 8. Queen Victoria's undies. Or, how the Brits would put it, her knickers. Before you could purchase random people's underwear online, you could buy the former queen's. For a pretty penny, that is. The current queen's great-great-grandmother's underpants were sold in 2015 for $16,300. They had her initials embroidered on them and were in perfect condition. Like any other heirloom, they'd been kept in a temperature-controlled room wrapped in tissue. Number 7. The Hands Resist Him. This chilling representation, a painting titled The Hands Resist Him by Bill Stoneham, was finished in 1974. It's not the most expensive painting ever sold. It was just $1,025. But the fact that anyone would pay over $1,000 to look at this more than once is scary on its own, especially if you consider the story behind the painting with such a curious title. The legend behind the painting says that the young daughter of the painting's owner would tell her father how the 2 children pictured would constantly fight. The father, to give her peace of mind, set up a motion-sensitive camera to prove that she had nothing to be afraid of. If you've seen any of the Paranormal Activity movies, you know what comes next. According to the story, the footage showed the boy crawling out of the painting. Owners of the painting have suffered from uneasiness, illness, hot air blasting from the painting itself, and even 3 deaths. Some say just looking at it on eBay has led to paranormal activity in their homes. Dare to take a look at it online? Be our guest. Number 6. Capote's ashes. Truman Capote was a truly extraordinary man, known for both writing Breakfast at Tiffany's and In Cold Blood. His range was unbelievable, and his characters were eccentric and tantalizing. After his death in 1984, his ashes were placed in a Japanese wooden box and given to Joanne Carson, the ex-wife of Johnny Carson, until she died in 2015. In that time, the ashes have been stolen and returned against all odds. In 2016, an anonymous buyer promised to allow Capote to continue his adventures, paying a lofty $45,000 for his ashes. Number 5. The Dybbuk Box. If you've ever seen the 2012 film, The Possession, this box was the inspiration for it. Intrigued yet? As you might have gathered from the name, The plot is mainly about an evil spirit possessing people through this very specific heirloom. Allegedly, the Dybbuk box originally belonged to a Holocaust survivor and has been handed down to owners who have much to say about it. One claims it smells like cat urine or jasmine flowers. Another says it made his hair fall out. It never stays long in the hands of a single owner, often reappearing for sale on eBay. Number 4. Dr. Kevorkian's van. If you don't know who Dr. Jack Kevorkian is, you're in for a chilling discovery. Often talked about as Dr. Death, Kevorkian was a medical doctor who advocated for doctor-assisted suicide his whole life. Then in 1990, he started performing them, starting with a woman named Janet Atkins. He performed them all over the country and even did one on 60 Minutes in 1998. Some of these assisted suicides were actually performed in this 1968 Volkswagen van that was later sold for $32,500 and put in a paranormal-themed museum. Whether or not those assisted suicides were actually consented to, there have been some eerie vibes all over that van. Number 3. Annabelle Replica. Okay, so it's not the original one, but this Annabelle doll replica was being sold on eBay for a high price without the accompanying evil spirits, a pro for some, a con for others. If you don't know the Annabelle doll, it was originally found and kept by Ed and Lorraine, the paranormal experts portrayed in the movie The Conjuring. Of course, the one sold on eBay resembled the movie version and not the real Annabelle, but was still being sold for $2,500. Number 2. Poveglia Island. That's right, more than just a doll or a van. There is a whole creepy island that sold for $672,000. The island sits between Venice and Lido and has a history dating back as far as 421 AD. From 1776 to 1968, the island was used for a quarantine for those suffering from the plague and other diseases, and then later became a mental hospital before it finally closed. Ever since, it's been totally vacant. It's estimated that nearly 150,000 people are buried on this tiny island in what are known as plague pits. Number 1. Ed Gein. You may have both seen the movie Psycho and heard of Ed Gein, but not known that they are, at least in inspiration, the same person. Gein was a man from Wisconsin who would mutilate his victims' bodies and make their skin into accessories, curtains, gloves, and other things. Of course, other horror movie villains have also had Ed Gein traits and characteristics. At an auction, someone sold off the 25-gallon cauldron where Gein would discard his victims' innards. Surprisingly, there was a buyer for that. The star of Ghost Adventures, Zak Bagans, bagged, if you will, the cauldron for $2,800. This was years after Gein's death, but still. Bagans collects haunted objects and stated he wanted to put it up in his home as a conversation starter. Hopefully, he doesn't start any conversations with the dead. Thanks for watching. Care to own one of these creepy items? Which one? Let us know in the comments. You can begin your collection of interesting and sometimes unusual videos from us on a regular basis simply by subscribing, clicking the bell, and giving this and all our videos a like.